So what if you could turn a university teacher into an AI app developer in just one day? I know, it sounds kind of out there, but a really groundbreaking workshop in Ghana did exactly that. Let's dive in and see how they pulled it off.
I mean, that's the big question, right? How is that even possible? Well, a project called UniHubs was determined to prove it could be done. Their goal was to give educators the tools to inspire a whole new generation of digital entrepreneurs.
All right, so let's set the scene. We're in Ghana at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, or KNST for short. And the challenge they set for themselves was, well, it was huge. They wanted to fundamentally change how educators think about and use technology in the classroom.
25. That's how many lecturers from higher education came together for this. And it wasn't a week-long course or a semester-long program. It was a single, jam-packed 8-hour day of training. Just one day to try and spark a total transformation.
And you know, the group they brought together was really strategic. It wasn't just professors from big universities like KNST. A huge piece of the puzzle was including educators from what are called colleges of education. The thinking was so smart. If you train the people who train the teachers, you create this incredible ripple effect that can spread across the entire country's school system. So the whole point here wasn't just about showing teachers some cool new AI tricks. No, it was much deeper. It was about using that technology to get students thinking like entrepreneurs. The whole workshop was designed to build a bridge between, what you learned in a lecture hall and the real practical skills you need in the digital world.
To pull this off, they knew they couldn't just throw a bunch of new software at these lecturers and hope for the best. Instead, they introduced a powerful new blueprint, a new way of thinking about teaching itself.
First up, they used something called the GamiFlipped model. It's a really clever mix of two ideas. The flipped part means students learn the basic stuff before they even come to class. Then, the Gami part, that's where the fun is. Class time is all about interactive activities with points, leaderboards, game stuff. It makes a complex topic like AI feel less like a boring lecture and way more like a fun challenge you get to solve.
And okay, this next part is the real game changer. They introduced the concept called vibe coding. Just forget about writing lines and lines of complex code. With vibe coding, the lecturers could build an actual app just by talking to an AI. Literally, just having a conversation in plain English. This one idea just completely smashes the barrier to entry, right? It lets anyone, and I mean anyone, turn an idea into a real working app in minutes.
The final piece of the puzzle was a framework called the Pick-Rat model. This was all about making sure the technology was being used in a meaningful way. It basically asks two simple questions. First, what's the student doing? Are they just passively watching? Are they interacting with something? Or are they actually creating something new? And second, what's the technology doing? Is it just replacing an old tool, like a blackboard? Is it amplifying the lesson, or is it completely transforming the way you learn? The goal is always to push towards that top right corner. Creative students and truly transformative tech.
So here's a quick look at the actual toolkit they used. Google AI Studio was the engine behind that incredible vibe coding. They used WooClap for live quizzes and polls to keep everyone engaged. And everything was organized in Canvas, which is a learning management system perfect for that flipped classroom model. You can see how every single tool had a very specific job to do.
Okay, so we've got the theory, the models, the tools. But what did the day actually look and feel like? Let's try to step inside the room and see how this whole thing went down.
The day was a total whirlwind. The morning was all about learning those frameworks and getting hands-on with the tools and different rotations. But the afternoon is when the real magic happened. They held a mini hackathon using Google AI Studio.
And this was the moment of truth. After just a few hours of training, these lecturers were told, okay, now it's your turn to be the creators. The challenge was simple, but it was also incredibly profound. Build a real tool, something that would actually be useful for your students, using the AI you just learned about. No pressure.
So what did they actually manage to build in just a couple of hours? Honestly, the results are just astonishing. This is where you really see the power of this whole approach. Let's take a look at a few of the actual apps they prototyped. Okay, first, check this out. An entrepreneurship FAQ chatbot. Imagine you're a student, it's 2 in the morning, and you have a burning question about how to register a business in Ghana. Well, this AI tutor gives you an answer instantly, 24/7. And you can just pop it right into the online course page. It's a perfect example of tech amplifying a teacher's ability to help. Next up, a startup simulation game. This is just brilliant. It's like a choose-your-own-adventure story, but for entrepreneurs. Students make decisions, about their budget or marketing, and the AI tells them what happens next. It's hands-on learning and gaming all rolled into one, teaching them how to make tough decisions in a completely safe space.
And finally, get this, an AI business idea evaluator. A student types in their business idea, and the tool acts like an AI mentor, giving them instant, structured feedback on its strengths and weaknesses. I mean, think about a class with 100 students. It's impossible for one lecturer to give that kind of personal feedback to everyone. This tool makes mentorship scalable. It's a huge deal.
This quote from one of the lecturers really says it all, doesn't it? The impact here wasn't just about learning a new skill. It was a complete mindset shift. These educators went from being people who use technology to people who create with it. And you can just feel that sense of empowerment in those words.
So clearly, the workshop was a massive success. But what can the rest of us learn from it? Well, the report wraps up with some really crucial lessons and recommendations for anyone who wants to try and replicate this kind of incredible transformation.
First off, let's be realistic. The people in the workshop knew this wasn't going to be an easy thing to just roll out everywhere. They pointed out some very real-world hurdles, like not enough computers or spotty internet, and just that natural human resistance we all have to doing things a new way. So based on that, the report highlights two key lessons. First, you absolutely have to prioritize low-code or no-code tools like vibe coding. That's what makes it possible for everyone to join in, no matter their technical background. And second, that hybrid GamiFlipped design is super resilient. Even if the internet goes out, the flipped part means the learning can still happen.
So the path forward seems pretty clear. The report recommends making the workshop 2 days instead of 1, maybe offering different tracks for beginners and more advanced folks, and this is a big one, getting the university leadership on board to really support the change. And then the final step, scale it up and adapt it for other regions.
And that really brings us to the main takeaway of this whole story. This one-day event in Ghana wasn't just a cool experiment. It was proof. It was tangible evidence that you can empower educators from all different backgrounds to become true innovators. It's not just possible, it's absolutely achievable.
And that leaves us with one final, pretty provocative question. We've just seen a blueprint for making rapid, meaningful change happen in education. So, if this is possible in just a single day in Ghana, what's really stopping us from bringing this kind of innovation to every single classroom, everywhere?